Hey everyone, Darla here, and I'm broadcasting live from my home office here in San Diego, California. And today's interview is going to be a really powerful one. I want to start backwards though, so I can grab your attention and you'll want to stick and stay through it all. So I'm going to be interviewing my friend Scott Center, who is in the mortgage industry. And Scott is 3 weeks shy of his 1 year anniversary of implementing send out cards in his mortgage business. And Scott can attribute, after 18 years in the mortgage industry and changing nothing, to an increase of $200,000 into his bank account just from implementing send out cards. So if that grabbed your attention, you're going to love this story, because what it's going to do is connect the dots as to what's possible in your business over the course of 1 year. And we're also going to connect the dots of what changed as he got started and went through the process. So Scott, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks so much for asking me. I love doing these talks with you, and just doing the coaching with you for the last 8 or 9 months has been phenomenal. And just you're just an awesome mentor, and I just really appreciate the opportunity to talk and just hopefully share some information that might be useful to some folks out there. So
thank you so much. And that's what I love about you, is that through this whole journey, you're like, Darla, let's share it with the world. I want the world to tap into this because of what it's done to your life. And that says a lot about you and your character. So thank you. So what I'd like for you to do is let's pick up the story at the beginning, because a lot of people don't understand the power of send out cards until they receive that first card.
yeah.
So let's talk about not only the card, but like who sent it to you? Where did it come from? What was the relationship of that person, so that the person that is maybe already in send out cards can see what type of people do we send cards to and what that can transform into. So take that part of that story and a little bit about your background, if you would.
Sure. So I've been with my company for about 5 years, but I've been in the mortgage business for 18, as I mentioned. And our company is really pretty decent sized mortgage company, regional in about 18 different states, but we have an office in a city about an hour and a half away from me here. And one of the loan officers in that group is an acquaintance of mine, but not a really close friend. I mean, we work together and talk once every quarter or so. But anyway, I got a card from him for my birthday. Just had a picture of my wife and I on the card along with happy birthday, and inside was a message from him just saying, hey Scott, hope you have a fantastic day. And he also sent me a copy of Cody's book, Human Connection book, which, first of all, I'd never heard of send out cards. I'd certainly never heard of Cody, and I'd never heard of that book. Anyway, so basically I was coming from nothing. And so, but the card just hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, that was so cool. And so I instantly called my friend. I called Eric and I said, hey Eric, how did you do that? And he said, yeah, I've got a send out cards account. I've been doing this now for 3 or 4 months. It's working out really well in his business. And I said, I need to find out how to do this, because that's something that I can instantly see would be beneficial for me to reach out to past customers and just, people we worked with, to send birthday cards. I mean, I didn't know anything about it. I knew at that point you could send a birthday card. And he explained how the book really made a difference for him. And he said, read the first 80 pages, read the first chapter, and it'll change your life. But anyway, I did, and the book really hit me at a really emotional level. And I'm not a real emotional guy. I mean, I'm very nuts and bolts, very facts and figures. I mean, just tell me the truth. I mean, I'm not real flowery, that kind of stuff. But the book really made an impact at a deeper level on how I really should be relating to the people around me, not just work-wise, but family and friends, and just not all sales all the time. I mean, just reaching people at a totally different level.
And in the beginning, how many cards were you sending?
I don't know, 3 or 4 a day there for a while. And then I finally started seeing some, really strong feedback from people. I'm like, wow, I'm really onto something here. So I started sending more and more, and really just kind of restructured my day. Because a lot of times people say, well, I don't have time to do that. Well, I started sending cards like first thing in the morning when I get to the office, before I turn on my email, before I do anything. I'm opening my Send on Cards account and sending cards to people that we talked to the day before for new applications and realtors that we talked to. And I'm sending quite a bit more than that now, probably more than most people would, but it's just powerful. So the first hour of the day, I send cards. But I do want to share one of the really powerful stories and how this really impacted me pretty quick. So I sent this card that I'm going to show you maybe 2 weeks after I started, and this was to a realtor who I'd only met one time for probably 5 minutes in a town that's 5 hours away from me in this resort community in Oklahoma. I mean, that's an area that I really wanted to start doing more business in. And so I sent her this card from a picture I saw on Facebook. And just tell me if you can see that or not.
Yeah,
okay.
Perfect.
So it's a picture of her with a guy. I didn't know who the guy was. And in the card, I just wrote, hey, Sharon, I saw this photo on Facebook. I thought you'd like to have a copy of it, of this really cool pic. Okay. And didn't think anything of it. And on the back of the card, really, I just had my photo on the back. Okay. Nothing, no sales presentation. I mean, I was following Cody's book. It's a, relational first, right? Because remember, I'd only met her one time for 5 minutes, never done any business with her. Anyway, she sent me an email back about a week later after she got the card. I could almost hear the tears in her email saying this is a picture of her and her brother who had pancreatic cancer. And it was one of the last photos that she took with him before he died. And I'm like, oh my God. And she was just so grateful to get that card. And it just hit her at an emotional level, hit me at an emotional level. And that's when I really picked up on what this really meant from I hate to say marketing standpoint, but it was relational marketing, because there's no way I could have made that kind of impact on her with anything other than what I did. The end story of it is she and I have gotten to be good friends, and we have done business together, a lot of business, because this area is a very expensive area in town with very big loan sizes. So it's turned into a very profitable friendship that we've developed. It's just been phenomenal. So as loan officers, it's one of our biggest jobs and challenges is developing new referral relationships with realtors, financial planners, CPAs. I mean, people that are good referral partners for us. And so I'd seen this post on Facebook, and there was a realtor who I really had never met personally, but we've had a couple deals together where I've financed her customers, but we've never met ever. We just knew of each other, right? So anyway, she had this card or this picture on Facebook, and it was obviously her mom, and I think it was the anniversary of her passing away. And she had these other photos on there as well. And so I created a card out of that, just wrote in the text to say, hey, Mariana, just so sorry for your loss. I mean, just thought you'd like these photos that she had posted. And as you know, I mean, if someone posts something on Facebook, it's obviously important to them, or they wouldn't do it. But like you've pointed out on numerous occasions, when somebody posts something on Facebook, I mean, it's gone, 5 minutes later. I mean, they're going to get some likes, they're going to get some people commenting, but tomorrow it's gone. There's no memory of it. There's nothing, hard, physical that they can put on their desk. Mm-hmm. So that was impactful. Anyway, she sent me an email a couple of days later. I'm just going to read this to you. It said, hey, Scott, I got your card today and have to say it made me stop in my tracks. This was an incredible act of kindness. I can't tell you how much I miss my mother. Thank you so much. If I didn't have a lender, now this is probably the important part for me. If I didn't already have a lender that I worked with for 25 years, I would certainly give you a call. So you'd think, bummer, right? However, I have 28 realtors who work for me, and I think it'd be nice to introduce you to them when you are available. Thanks again for this beautiful act of kindness. And she sent this photo along with it, and we did set up a meeting with her agents, and it's turned into some other new relationships for us in that office that I've never been to in my life. And in our world, in the lender side of things, there's no mailing piece you could ever in a million years send cold to a broker and have that kind of introduction to their office. I mean, it was just phenomenal.
That's the most powerful key of what you just said right there. You said a couple powerful things. One is In the first card that you were talking about, you didn't know who the person in the picture was. You just sent it
Right.
because you knew that if it was on their Facebook, it meant something to them.
Hmm.
And you just sent it. And then secondly, that you put just a short message. You know, I'm sorry for your loss. I thought you would enjoy these pictures that you posted. And that's the key right there. And then thirdly, saying that there is no other marketing piece that can do this. You can do a 50,000 piece farming campaign and spend $10,000 on it, and the people are not going to get the card and reply to you in tears and emotionally say, this is the nicest thing anyone could have ever done. I want to introduce you to all of my, like that one lady said, she's still going to honor her friendship with her friend, but she's more than happy to introduce you to all of her team.
Yeah,
You
it was
know,
it was totally respectful. It was totally she was grateful, thankful, respectful. It was just like the perfect scenario. And I might also say one thing that was important to me is before send out cards, making it super easy to do something like that in the first place, I never would have reached out to her at all.
right.
I mean, I would have prejudged. I would have said I'm not going to do that, and that's another important piece is not prejudging that somebody's going to see a card in the wrong way or something like that. I mean, you just have to assume if you're doing something nice with no expectation of them doing anything, don't even expect a thank you. Just do it. I mean, just send out cards just for the sake of sending out cards.
Yeah. And so I happen to know Scott's journey very well because Scott's also enrolled in my MAC coaching program, which is where he's learning a lot of these tips on how to master the art of human connections. So I want to pull a little few bits of information out of him to keep giving the big picture. What has it done for your reputation and character?
It's can't put a number on it because everything I've ever done prior to send out cards was okay. I'm running a Facebook ad, and if I don't get a certain ROI on it, it wasn't worth it. Well, this is not like that. I mean, this is sending for the sake of sending, and just knowing if you do it right, it's going to come back to you tenfold, and it certainly worked that way for us. And it really didn't take that long to start seeing that return either. I mean, these kind of responses, you start getting those a week after you send the card. So yes, you don't necessarily have a monetary gain a week after you send a card, but I can promise you the money we've made from that new friendship, is paid for my send out card membership for the rest of my life.
When you look at this book, The Power of Human Connections, how relationship marketing is transforming the way people succeed. And that's because the word relationship marketing, most people look at this word first, when if you focus on this word, this one follows by default. Where
Right.
if you focus on this word first, you don't build this. And
Right.
that's the thing with traditional marketing is there is no heart in traditional marketing. It's all sales, and people don't like to be pitched or sold. They like to be valued and appreciated, and those that are appreciated by default are who we do business with. So when somebody's in a room full of people and they say, who do you recommend to do a loan? I need to get a loan. Oh, I have the exact person you need to go to. And they'll strong arm you and they'll drag you down there, to go talk to him. They'll call right there and put you on the phone because that's the type of reputation that it puts in other people that build for you.
Just this morning, I got a call from a person totally out of the blue, didn't know who they were. They said they were referred by, so and so, who I recognized as a past customer, but I also knew that I hadn't sent this past customer anything for last 5 or 6 years, myself, other than a birthday card from through my send out cards account like 2 or 3 months ago. And then another card, there's an anniversary card of when we did the original loan in 2014, I think. And we sent that one out like 2 months ago. And that's the only two communications we've had with this guy in the last 6 years. And they sent us a referral today. It was a $300,000 loan. And I'm like, there's no other way that guy would have remembered who I was. Because I mean, I've failed in my past marketing with him and not stayed in touch. But we re-added him to, I think actually this is somebody, one of your VAs added to our send out cards account through the Facebook campaign that your guys are, that they're working on for us.
So
So,
let's talk about that. So
yeah,
when you got started, you started using it to send to clients and friends.
right.
And then you through coaching, you learned that focus on the people that you haven't even touched yet, and they will come towards you to do business with you, right? So
Right.
this is the perfect example. So then, how long ago did you start using the VAs?
3 or 4 months,
Okay.
5 months maybe.
So, and what are they doing for you? Explain to people now what's happening because of using VAs.
Okay, so I think I know that your VAs have more services than just what I'm using them for, but what we're using them for is to go into my Facebook account, and like most people, I've got, I don't know, a couple thousand people in there that are my friends, and really they're just people that we connected with, but really don't know probably but 300 of them very closely. And so we had Mitch. Mitch is my head VA, I think, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so asked her to go into my Facebook account and connect with basically everybody on there who's having a birthday coming up in the following month, and just asking them to, hey, we'd like to be able to celebrate your birthday, and would you just verify your address? I think something to that effect, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just completely hands off for me, which is great because I mean we're super busy like everybody else in business. So they go in the Facebook account, they connect with the people on my Facebook account, add them to my send out cards account. But even better than that, they put them into different groups as they apply to whether they're a mother or father. They'll put their anniversary in there so that we can connect with them later on. But one of the most important pieces of that, and you and I talked about this before, is they don't know these people from Adam. They know them even less than I do. So they're not prejudging anybody. So if I were going in there myself and sending a Facebook message to, Tom, Dick, and Harry, well, if I don't really know Tom, Dick, and Harry, I'm probably not going to send a Facebook message to them because I'm going to be embarrassed that I don't know who they are really. So that's one of the beautiful things about using the VA to do that, is they're just sending out to everybody. And if we get a great response, which 99% of the time they do, people are more than happy to give you their address. If you're saying, I'm sending you a birthday card to celebrate you, they're going to give you their address, and they have been. And it's just working out great. I mean, it really just been phenomenal.
And your goal is by the end of 12 months, because it's going month at a time, month at a time, month at a time.
Yeah.
By the end of 12 months, all thousands of those friends that he has on his Facebook will have been touched. And
Right.
then their addresses will been
more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their addresses will be loaded into his send out cards CRM. And now the funnel in love is ongoing because it's a system that works for him. Mm-hmm. So now this funnel of love is going to go until that person dies. Not till Scott dies, until that person dies. If Scott dies first, the system is still going to work. If he'll pass it on to his wife and his children, and they'll keep things funneling out. And when you get started using send out cards, Scott, you only see the small picture, and now you're where you see this picture. Now the next layer is, one thing that you don't realize is the legacy now that you're building to leave behind for your children. Mm-hmm. Is a network of people that know them, like them, and trust them because of the way their pop made them feel, the way their dad made them feel. I'm talking about your unborn grandchildren. Your unborn grandchildren are going to need a job one day. And you know what? Son, your grandfather was a stellar man. He's sent me a birthday card for as long as I knew him, and that's the legacy that you're truly creating as a network, mm-hmm. not just your business that you're building to leave financial inheritance, but there's nothing more valuable than a large global network of people that know you, love you, like you, and trust you because of the way your grandpa or your father made them feel, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's beyond that. That's the mind-blowing part.
I haven't gotten there that big in my thinking yet, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, especially if you think you're 11 and a quarter months into the send out cards mm-hmm. effect, right? Yeah. But you're mastering the art of human connections has been 7-8 months, and then now using the VAs to mass produce your love funnel mm-hmm. is now turning you, as the clock continues to turn around to 12 months, then it's mind-blowing by the time the 12th month connects. And now it's time to make next year's card. It's pretty powerful, because then by that time they've gotten an anniversary card, they've gotten a Mother's Day or a Father's Day or a Veterans card, and those holiday cards, New Year's cards, touch mm-hmm. like that. Okay, big picture. So here we are at the end of it. Now this is where people have a hard time wrapping their brain around how in the world could somebody send this many cards? Talk about what type of cards and gifts are sent out of your account in a month. Or back to the whole thing, like if you were to look back, what numbers do you know?
We've sent about 3,700 cards in this first 11 and a half months. Of that, only around 650 were sent through a system send. So either myself or my assistant, we've done one by one, 3,100 cards. So what does that come out to? 10 a day, give or
Yeah,
take?
and I know you personally now do 10 a day, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Personally, every day. Your personal number is 10 a day.
Yeah, I mean, which sounds like a big number, but in reality, it's really not. And I know people, they're like, don't have a Center Cards account yet. They're like, well, they're not used to doing cards. So when they think of cards, they're like, well, it's going to take me 5 minutes to think about what to write and 5 minutes to get my pen out and 5 minutes to stamp it. And they're thinking one card's going to be 15 minutes. Well, once you have your card, your template built with your picture on the back and what you want on the back, I mean, all you're doing is writing your message, and we're saying thank you. I mean, a customer today, the referral from this morning, hey Chris, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to review your financing options. Look forward to helping you. Have a fantastic day, Scott. Boom, done. You're in and out in 30 seconds. I mean, it's that simple, and it's just getting in the habit. It's just like Cody writes in the book, it's being a level 4 sender.
Mm-hmm.
You just do it without thinking about it, and you're competent. Mm-hmm. And that's we're there. I mean, we really are. And it took a while to get there, but it's not difficult. And when you start seeing the responses you get from the people who get the cards and the emotional, the way it makes you feel. I mean, I love the money. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it really has made me a better person. Just in our relationships with my family, with my wife. I mean, with just people around me. It makes you better.
Yeah, it does. I can agree with that. Now, it's been 18 years that you've been in business. Is this your best year ever?
Yeah.
Have you changed any other marketing or anything in your business?
Yeah, we've gotten rid of everything else we did.
You got rid of all your other marketing.
So, I mean, yeah, prior to send out cards, we were spending a pretty healthy amount of money on Facebook ads, for consumer direct marketing. And I completely got rid of that. And don't get me wrong, for people that do that the right way, it can be very attractive, but that's totally transactional. I mean, you're going to get a deal, it's going to be a lead, and you're not developing any kind of relationship with that. If you can't, turn that into a deal right away, it's gone in 60 seconds, if you will.
What kind of money were you spending on ads?
A couple thousand a month.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, which sounds like a lot in mortgage, but that's really not that much in the mortgage industry. There are people that spend way, way, way more than that. But it's the money we spend with send out cards right now is so much better applied, if you will.
Exactly. And for those of you that are watching and you may not be in the real estate, mortgage, or insurance business, the definition of business is something that requires a transaction between a customer to a product or a service for a profit. So if you have a product or a service and you deal with a customer, you're all in the people business. Every single one of us, regardless if you're a hairdresser or a mortgage lender. It's all about the relationships that you build that create your transactions. And the nicer you are to people and the system that you have to be able to touch people outside your immediate circle. You can handle the people that you're in business with and the people that you deal with, but what about all the people on the outer layers that you can bring in to your inner circle? That's what this does. And then you'll find that you will not have to push out and go seek. It will find. It just does that. It turns it around and creates the attraction towards you. So Scott, thank you so much for your stories always along the way, and your touch-ins and your reconnects. And keeping track of the numbers guy, keeping track of all your numbers for these stories to show people, that it is possible. I really appreciate your friendship and your business, and I'm looking forward to where your future goes over the next 12 months.
It's pretty exciting, so it's been fun. I appreciate you giving me the chance to share, and hopefully somebody picked up on something they can use, so that'd be great.
Yep, awesome. Thanks, Scott.
All right.
Talk to you later. Bye. So there you have it. That's Scott Center's story, just shy of 1 year since he got his first send out card. If somebody sent you this video, get back with them and ask them to direct you to who can help you get started with send out cards. If you see the value of send out cards, but you just don't have the time or the manpower because you're busy working all the time, let me put you in touch with our VA team. And if you need a coach or a mentor or someone to help you learn how to market outside the box and to expand your network through kindness, reach out to me directly. I'll be more than happy to help lead you through your journey of your story so we can interview you one day. I'm Darla DeGrande. Thanks for watching. Bye.